Hello and welcome in, everyone. Let's get this comment pin as we always do. Welcome to your Astrology Saturday with your host with the most, Chad the Maverick. So this week is going to be, a lot of weeks are important. This week right here, way more important than probably any of the other previous weeks that I was talking about. And the reason why is because of this lunar eclipse that is happening on this upcoming Monday, which is going to change the course and change the shift of how this upcoming December 2020 is going to be happening. So please stay tuned throughout this whole entire thing. If you think anyone can use this information, which I mean everyone kind of can, because this lunar eclipse is making so many crazy shifts. So I really want to make sure that you guys understand and you know what's going on. So as far as that's concerned, once more, my name is Chad the Maverick. I'm the astrology teacher here with House of Intuition. I teach classes every Monday and Wednesday. My next class that I'm doing is going to be on Monday on this full moon in Gemini. So the full moon in Gemini with the lunar eclipse, this is the full moon candle right here. I'm going to be breaking down all the information in depth. I'm going to talk about it again today as well. But if you really want to know what's going to be happening on the lunar eclipse for you, everyone around you, and your sign in particular, be sure to show up to that. Now, this full moon is going to be a very different full moon than usual full moons, right? So where full moons are normally going to be releases onto the collective about whatever energy that it's in, lunar eclipses are like full moons times 10. And that's just that's like a good number just to kind of go on because it's times 10. But the lunar eclipses are what are literally attached to the destiny points in astrology, which is the north node and south node. So these lunar nodes of the moon are what our souls pretty much experience as our destiny shift towards what it is that we actually want, towards what it is that we actually want to go forward with and such like that. So this releasing that's happening is going to be in this Gemini space. So basically the way that this is going to work is that all of our communication, all of the things that we have been dreaming about, speaking on, and trying to shift are going to really start to come into a culmination. But in comparison to you maybe specifically doing stuff about that, this is a time of releasing, letting go, and letting the universe make a difference and make a change. Now, the reason why eclipses are so important is because it doesn't matter if you go and do stuff and you're outside or you're like actually making things happen and then these shifts make sense to you or then these shifts happen to you. Lunar eclipses happen even if you're just in the house and you refuse to go outside or you refuse to do anything else. There's always going to be a shift, and because it's a lunar eclipse, it's going to be an emotional shift. It's going to be a soul level shift as far as like all of that energy is concerned. So like I said, going into this upcoming week, we have the main kicker being the lunar eclipse. So please be sure that you go to the class that I have on Monday for that, because I'm going to be teaching you once more how this lunar eclipse is going to affect you and your particular zodiac sign and whatever other signs are in your chart. So be sure to check that out. It's $10 a piece at 6 p.m. PST via Zoom. Also check out our other classes and practitioners. So we have Patty, who teaches practical magic, and we have Ryan that also teach about that. Ryan that also teach practical magic on this upcoming Sunday. So also check out Bree's Crystal Talks every Thursday as well. And we have House of Intuition Crystals every Sunday where we have our crystal donations. They're beautiful, beautiful pieces. So be sure that you check those out as well. So as none of that's out of the way, let's get into what's happening today a little bit, right? So today, how do I get into the class? Sign up via Zoom. Sign up on the website. As soon as you go to the website, House of Intuition LA, it's literally right underneath, and that's the way that goes. So, basically, right, let's get into this Neptune in Pisces that is happening today. So, Neptune has been in Pisces, actually, for a while now. But Neptune in Pisces is now going direct. So, for the past, I want to say 6 months it's been. With Neptune being in this retrograde format, we've been having to really take a lot of time to reformat and readjust and look at how we see our dreams, how we see our fantasies that we want to create, the life that we want to envision. Neptune has been retrograde. So if you have felt like you've been stunted on your dreams, like you've been like pretty much just trying to go with the status quo, where you've been trying to just follow what's the hoopla of the world and not really been tapping into what it is that you actually want, tapping into what you actually desire, This Neptune going direct is going to be sparking off the idea that your dreams are literally being ready to come into reality. And this lunar eclipse is kind of meshing all of that energy together because there's going to be a direct aspect to that. I'll be explaining more in the class that I have. But the way that Neptune in Pisces is going to be happening is that it's going to be shifting and changing a sense of like the dream world that you have, right? How are you going to be bridging this into real life? How are you going to be bridging this into your day-to-day functioning, right? The lunar eclipse, once more, is going to be setting that off and making that big differential as far as that is concerned. So also we have today, we have Mercury making a sextile over to Jupiter. So basically, Mercury's in Scorpio. So it's a very investigative. All of our minds are really like diving into the deep layers of what's going on in the world and what's also going on within ourselves. And with this Jupiter in Pisces, with this Jupiter in Capricorn, right? What the sextile is going to be doing is that it's going to be working with the opportunity. Like, what opportunity are you bringing in that's going to help you expand, right? So by speaking your truth, by getting into that raw, authentic part of what you are trying to get across, is what's going to be bringing you new opportunity and bringing you new functioning as far as how you want to get your point across, how you want to get your words across as well. That's going to be definitely starting off today. And with this Neptune, you have to remember, like, this is a dream type thing. It's like, how are you going to speak your dreams into existence, and how are you going to expand on those dreams as well? That's what's really going to be popping off as far as this today. This is happening today. This is what's really going to be starting. This is really what's sparking as that is concerned. Side note, I think someone was mentioned earlier, if you guys want to find me, I'm going to be putting my at inside of the actual IGTV once this is up, but it's going to be Chad the Maverick, so be sure to check that out. I'm also putting out a monthly astrology video basically today, so if you want to see like what's going on, the overview of the month, check that out. I'm going to be on the weeklies as well this time every week, just so I can break down what's specifically happening through the week. But I did drop an overview of that, right? Birthday tomorrow, anything specific you should know? Your birthday is going to basically be on this lunar eclipse time frame season, so happy birthday to you, my fellow Sagittarius. But for you, I would definitely say that it's a big releasing. So whatever it is from this 2020, from your life, like everything else, you have to let go of what does not serve you in order for you to continuously push forward with what it is that you actually want. So you have to let go, clear house before you get into the next thing. So that's my suggestion to you for your birthday. Happy birthday. So happy solar return, as a matter of fact. So getting much more into the rest of this astrology that's coming up, right? So on the 29th to the 3rd, spiders are a really good sign. That spiders are always wisdom and intuition symbols. So yeah, just to let you know, someone said something about a spider, so that's dope. Anyway, basically, right, the lunar eclipse is rolling in on this 29th to 30th, right? So the 30th is when the lunar eclipse is actually happening. On this upcoming Sunday, this lunar eclipse energy is starting to like slowly roll in, right? But Monday is when it's the boom. That's when I'm having the class literally at the time of the lunar eclipse. So that's why I'm trying to like put you on, because the lunar eclipse is going to be affecting the rest of the month, to be honest. This next 2 weeks, especially before the solar eclipse that's coming up in Sagittarius, which I will also be covering. But that's going to be pretty much the time frame. That's going to pretty much be what's going on with that. Hello to the people. Appreciate the hearts. Appreciate the love. But when it comes to, like I said, this lunar eclipse, it's going to be shifting how we get along with other people. And the reason why I say get along with other people is because it's all about how we're going to be speaking with other people. It's all going to be about our mindsets. It's all going to be about our philosophies. Do we actually know everything that we think we know, or do we just know enough to be able to speak about it to someone else who might know those different parts? Like, it's one of those collaborative energies. It's like, we don't know everything. Like, no matter who you are, you don't know everything. So it's like, how are you going to bridge in the things that you know with the things that other people know? So when you have that communication, when you have that conversation, it ends up leading you to where you both want to be at, where you both want to like speak on, where you both want to like stay towards, right? It's a very collaborative energy as far as like speaking about things and having those conversations and making those big and major shifts in that process. So be sure to keep an open space, keep an open communication with those that are around you that mean you well, or that I should say resonate with your soul, resonate with your spirit, resonate with your energy, because this lunar eclipse is all going to be about tapping into that emotional part of the soul, right? The moon is the emotional part of the soul. The moon is your intuition. Your moon is what's going on with that, not only in the sky but also in your chart, in yourself as well. So that's basically how that's going to be working as far as that's concerned. Once more, there is a lot of astrology and specifics behind this lunar eclipse because it's not a normal full moon. It's not a normal full moon in the slightest. So be sure that like that you end up checking out the class on that so I can break that down in its entirety. So glad to see you awakened men. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's cool to start seeing other people actually like really get into that. So I appreciate the love on that 100%. So on the 30th as well, right? We have Mercury and Scorpio making its sextile over to Saturn, right? So with Mercury making a sextile over to Saturn, what's going to be happening is our communication is going to start to solidify. There's going to be new opportunities that are solidifying based off of what we speak on. Hence, with this lunar eclipse energy, it is so important on what you speak, what you say, what you're trying to bring into that. I feel a lot of dead weight around me. I'm very glad that you brought that up because that's what this lunar eclipse is doing. Thank you for bringing that up. There's a lot of dead weight that people are carrying that this lunar eclipse is trying to literally eradicate from your life. And if you don't want to let go of those things that you know don't serve you, that's going to like disperse. You get what I'm saying? Like the universe is literally being like, hey, this doesn't serve you. This isn't helping you. This isn't helping your heart. This isn't helping your mind. Literally clearing that, clearing that away. And it's one of those things where it's like, whether you're trying to do that or not, what's not resonating with you is about to just kind of like flutter off. So that's kind of what's going on with that. That's the reason why when I say when it comes to these eclipses, it's about surrender more so than it is you trying to create something different. Like, are you going to go against the destiny of what the collective is going on by yourself? I mean, you can, but like, are you going to like completely fight against the waves and the shifts that you feel are right in your heart? Like, why are you going to fight against that? That's your mind fighting against that, not you being in your spirit, not you being with your soul. Just released someone yesterday. I'm going to be real. That's kind of like this sense that it is. It's like the people that aren't serving you or serving who you are going to start to disperse. People that are talking weird about you, people that are talking like any form of negativity, that don't believe in you, don't believe in your dreams, especially with this Neptune part, all going to kind of fall by the wayside because they're not meant to continue on with this energy that you're bringing in. This is new sense of power that you have, right? And this new sense of power, I'm gonna be real, for the next 2 weeks, it's like it's still gonna be this space of like releasing for like the next like 2 weeks. But by the solar eclipse, in that next the 2 weeks after that, it's going to be moving that forward. Can we release karma from past lives? That is pretty much what this is from, because this is going to be the North Node and South Node. The South Node represents past lives, the past, etc. So that's going to be pretty much working as far as that's concerned. So if you do feel like that's happening, that's what's going to be happening with that. So you just have to essentially not moving nowhere. The eclipse is going to happen. This is like anyway. Even if you're like hiding by yourself, like you have something over, like eclipses, full moons you can hide from. Like regular full moons, if you don't want to deal with full moon energy, you can hide in your house and just like not deal with it. But lunar eclipses, they do come through because it's for the whole entire collective. Like everyone is going to be afflicted by it, whether they're conscientious of astrology or not. It's just one of those situations that end up happening. Astrology just basically shows you what shifts are happening as they are happening to us, or working with us in those process, right? What rituals can you partake in? Come to my class on that Monday, because I'll be giving you like a lot of tips about that. But my best ritual I could probably tell you is to just like have a ritual of surrender to like the universe, right? That's probably like the best sense that I can give you, at least in that little blip about this energy coming up, right? So that's going to be the lunar eclipse coming up on this Monday. And after this Monday, right, the next day we have Mercury going into Sagittarius, right? So with Mercury going into Sagittarius, what this is going to be really doing is that this is going to be giving you a new sense of power as far as what is your philosophy? What is the philosophy that you've created during this 2020? Like what philosophy have you been able to come across? What have you been able to really tap into as far as this 2020 is concerned? What's going to be happening is, right, you're going to be speaking your truth even stronger. I say speaking your truth a lot, but like it's like the rawness of this Mercury and Scorpio, which is making you dive into yourself, right? Because Scorpio and Sagittarius are two different faces of truth. Scorpio is the truth that is being sought within, whereas Sagittarius is the truth being sought outwardly, right? So that's pretty much how that ends up happening with that. As far as that's concerned, I appreciate the love on the classes. I do appreciate y'all coming through to the classes. They're always fun. They're always a great time. I especially love the full moon ones. And outside of that, for anyone who does want to learn astrology, I'm still teaching the classes every Monday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. PST. They're only $10 a piece. I go off. I low-key have like a nice setup and everything. I have my mic. It's really good. It's really good. So feel free to show up to those because I love teaching those classes and they really do help a lot of people from the feedback. So much love to you all that are giving me feedback on the classes and such like that. I really do appreciate you all like going to them and helping that happen for me. So appreciate it. Much love. I was shot at that. Basically, Mercury in Sagittarius once more is about the like truth, and it's in Sagittarius season. So Mercury's going into during Sagittarius season. So it's like now we're catching up, or the Mercury is trying to catch up to what the sun has been doing. And what has the sun been doing? Bringing hope. I don't know if anyone's like, regardless of things that may have happened, like there's a new sense of hope in the air. Like there was no hope like a month ago. Like it's just like everyone was going through a lot of transformation. There was no like hope in the air. The hope is back into the air. This is the last bit of fire energy that we have, and we're ending off the year essentially with this fire energy keeping going, keeping the kindle, right? And so, like I said, this Mercury in Sagittarius is going to be about how are you going to communicate your outward truth, right? Not just the inward truth. You already worked on the inward truth all throughout the last 3 or so weeks. Now this is going to be pushing forward. What do you want to really say now? What's really happening now? What are you trying to get across now? So that's what's going to be very interesting as far as like all of that is concerned with this Mercury going into Sagittarius. Are new people going to be coming into our lives? I don't know that I read it different. I'm sorry, but there may be. I read it as are new people going to come into your life. That's what I read it as, and I think that might be the case for a lot of people because what's happening as a matter of fact. With Mercury going into Sagittarius, you're going to be connecting with more soul family, right? More people that are directly connected to your soul, more directly connected with your destiny, more directly connected with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. It's like the universe is really trying to solidify where people are at to bring in better people that resonate at the same level, at the same frequency in that process. So that's what I'm really seeing with this Mercury and Sagittarius coming up. Mercury's going to be in Sag until later on in December as well, until about the 20th. So that's going to be happening as far as that is concerned. So be free in how you speak and how you communicate. Now, mind you, that's going to be happening on December 1st, right? Which is going to be it's upcoming Monday. So, no, Tuesday. I'm sorry. The upcoming Tuesday. So, the next part, right? Talking about pretty much the rest of the week outside of this. Mind you, this lunar eclipse we're in eclipse season. Like, once this lunar eclipse happened, we're in eclipse season. So all those releases, all those letting goes of, all of those tapping into the soul energy is going to be happening from that point and for the next 2 weeks indefinitely. Longer than that, for the next 2 weeks indefinitely. So that's going to be happening as far as that's going to be concerned. So the moon in Cancer is going to be coming up on that Wednesday, Thursday before this next week. And next week I'll be coming back to explain what's happening next week. So be sure to tune into that as well. But the moon in Cancer on both of those days are basically going to bring in a new sense of what do you deem home, a new sense of where does your intuition sit at, a new sense of where does your soul resonate at, where are you going to be most comfortable in this new energy. Mind you, this lunar eclipse, which is the moon having its shift over into Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. This is literally like you starting to find new adjustments based off of this lunar eclipse energy. Find new emotional adjustments based off of this lunar eclipse that is coming through and just completely shifting how certain people are viewing their emotions, their intuition. It's a new relationship with your intuition that's going to be coming in from that Wednesday, Thursday time frame. A new feeling, like a new feeling to follow, a new like hunch almost to have in a sense when it comes to these things. So that's definitely something to look out for the upcoming Wednesday and Thursday. What makes you feel comfortable, right? What makes you feel comfortable in your new... So let me explain what I mean by that. Your comfort from prior to this lunar eclipse is going to be very different from your comfort going in post this lunar eclipse. So what I mean by this is that there's going to be a whole new stage on how you actually deem what's comfortable and what you're not so comfortable with, right? Because there's some things that before this lunar eclipse, you could have been like, wow, this is like the most comfortable thing for me. Like, wow, this is 100% what I like, what I want to deal with, this, that, and the third. And then afterwards, it's like, no. And then coming into this, or even if there is like the same situation, there's going to be adjustments in how you get tapped into that like intuition, tapped into that emotional space like I was trying to mention beforehand. So that's going to be really happening for that Wednesday and Thursday upcoming. So this Friday, on the 4th of December, we're going to have Mercury, which is now in Sagittarius, right? Making its trine over to Chiron and Aries. And Chiron and Aries has been basically having people adjust how they end up pushing forward their truth and their identity, right? This has been making people address a lot of hidden wounds, a lot of hidden karma in the sense too, like just hidden underneath the layered things that most people try not to do. Chiron represents the pain of humanity, to be real with y'all. So the reason why is like, while it represents this pain of humanity, it also represents the beauty that the pain of humanity also has bring. Because without the struggle in things, there is no beauty to other things like that. As the Buddha said at one point, this is just a quote, but he said, all life is suffering, right? So if all life is suffering, Chiron represents that part, but the suffering portion is just to know that there's sometimes things that happen that we dislike, right? But what Chiron and Aries is like, although these things are dislikes and although these things may have happened, this is the area, this is the key to help you transmute those energies into something positive for yourself. Chiron makes people stronger, right? Like Chiron represents the human struggle and how to make people stronger in that process, especially being in Aries. This is really bringing out that real part of people, like the core sense of people. When Mercury being in Sagittarius, this is now you speaking on what that core that core part is. We're speaking on what that energy is, right? So mind you, this is the most important part. That's basically the astrology of the week, right? But the most important part of this whole entire thing is this lunar eclipse. So please be sure to go to the class upcoming on this class upcoming on this Monday, where I'm breaking down the Gemini full moon, and I'm really gonna tell you everything along the lines of that and how that is concerned. So this once more, we're in Sagittarius season, right? So I wanted to just kind of like pinpoint and really let y'all know this is the last straw of like the fire energy before the new astrological year, which starts in March, during the spring equinox, right? So that's why I'm like, this is, if there's any time to get into your passion, right? To get into your vision, Sagittarius, right? To accept your dreams, Neptune that's just going direct in Pisces, right? And to understand the new layers of what do you want to communicate with this Gemini North Node and all of these things happening at the same time. You have to be able to analyze what it is that you want to change for yourself. Analyze what it is that you want to really make a real differential for yourself in your life, because this is the universe opening essentially the gateway, right? If you ever watched if you ever watched a movie And in the movie, it's just like, this is the destiny shifting. This is the new world that is being created. That's literally what's going on. It's just like, eclipses are time. Even if you watch certain movies, like, you'll notice that there's big events that happen every time there's eclipse. You're like, oh, there's an eclipse happening. It's that and third. For y'all who probably understand a reference, in like Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a great show for everyone to watch if you're into any form of spirituality, because they really break down how the elements work incredibly well. But the whole idea behind like this Avatar: Last Airbender, there's a specific part where it's like there's a lunar eclipse, and when a lunar eclipse happens, there's this whole big thing as far as like, you know, like the water tribe and everything like that. But the reason why I want to mention this lunar eclipse is that like it was a big event that shifted the destiny of a whole like part of the civilization. It shifted like, and there was many different things that popped up that weren't expected, and that's the reason why it's like with this unexpected energy, with this unexpected events. And mind you, even if this isn't happening directly on this day of the lunar eclipse, we're kind of already in this energy. Like, we've kind of been in this energy for the past, like, honestly, since like a little bit before Thanksgiving, right? All of that energy ended up coming through. Boomy is the best character. Facts. He's just waited till the right moment to act, 100%. Because that's the thing about it, is like, you have to wait until the right moment. What this lunar eclipse is doing is releasing what hasn't served you, that even like your whatever your ego, human ego, I mean, everyone has one at the end of the day. That's what keeps us people. You know what I mean? Like, I have my own personal thoughts on that in comparison. I know there's a lot of different renditions on that, but I think when it comes to like the human ego, which is the homeostasis of a person that keeps them an individual, you know what I mean? That's what Aries represents. It's the homeostasis of what keeps you an individual. You're still part of the whole, not the point. The whole idea behind this is that you do have to like wait for the universe to make its moves before you start to make your own moves, but you have to wait until it feels right. This isn't a time to force things that don't feel right. If it's not like being led to you, if it's not coming to you, or if it's not feeling like it's like really resonating with you, it's not a time to force it. Because you forcing that isn't going to be moving per se in your favor. It's just going to be you trying to match up to what other people's perspectives are, what other people's thoughts are when it comes to that. It's not about that. It's about really getting into the layers and the levels of bringing in what it is that you really think, what it is that you really like feel, what you're streaming in from your higher self. Like, these are all the themes that are coming on. So that's, like I said, that's like my one little like bit about, you know, the astrology of this week outside of the real in-depth. I pull up the chart, I show you all of the like trends that are happening in the astrology and breaking it down for what's happening for your sign. That's going to be a whole separate portion. But once more, right, I am the teacher here for the astrology classes. So if you want to check out my classes, I have classes every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST. All of my classes are going to be on the website. So if you go to the website houseintuitionla.com and you literally go like, it's the first thing that pops up, and it's like the two things underneath that, that's usually going to be where my classes are located. And like I said, I have them booked out from now until the end of December. The most critical classes, even if you're not someone who wants to like learn astrology per se, are going to be the new moon and full moon classes. But if you do want to learn astrology, I teach astrology, and you will know and leave knowing something that you didn't before and learning how to integrate that in a different way, because I like to send people down good old informational rabbit holes that end up tapping them into deeper parts of themselves. That's what I'm here for. So do you have any recommendation for books to teach more about astrology? The one book that I always recommend for people when they're like beginners or really trying to learn astrology is The Only Astrology Book You'd Ever Know, or you ever need. The Only Astrology Book You'd Ever Need. I believe that's what it's called. But they have that in House Intuition as well. So if you're in LA, be sure to pop up into a store, because they usually have those in stock. But yeah, it's the only astrology book that you'd ever need, I believe is what it's called, because it's really good to use that, but use that as your guide as far as like learning the basics, because once you learn and you understand the basics of the symbols and the characteristics, that's when you get to like get advanced with stuff And then you come to my class and everything starts to make sense. You feel me? So once more, appreciate you all for coming through. Much love to you all for this lunar eclipse. Be sure to tap into that soul level and really make these things happen for yourself, because your destiny is shifting for you. So be free to make sure that you work with that, right? So outside of that, thank you all for showing up. Thank you for coming to this live stream. Much love to you all. And until next time, have a great one. Peace.